Testing, testing, 1 2 1 2. This is the Let's Do Sports Top 5 Roundup with your host, J.J. Rivera. Obviously, we're here. This is episode 10. This is the end of an era. 10 weeks of consistently uploading, maybe a few times a little late, but consistently uploading a podcast. So we're gonna get straight into it with our first story. We are gonna talk about CJ Stroud and how he shouldn't just be spoken about as a rookie of the year in the NFL. This man should be in MVP consideration. Let's get straight to it. In the regular season, 62% completion percentage, 2,270 yards, 14 TDs to 1 interception. His last game, he threw 470 yards and 5 touchdowns with a QBR or a passer rating of 147.8. We need to start talking about this man as an MVP candidate. He had a few off games, we're not gonna lie. We'll talk about a week before, the Panthers game. Terrible showing by him, but every week he bounces back from these games. Buccaneers, pretty good team, let's remind you. Pretty good team. Baker Mayfield has made sure that this team is not, just in the dumps. Let's see. 3-5. That's a pretty good record for at this point of the season, because there's still at this point 9 games left. He's doing this against good to decent teams. He's not doing this against terrible teams. Look, he played the first game of the season, 242 yards. No TD passes, but that's against the Ravens, who are right now, at least record-wise, the best team in the National Football League. The Colts, 384 yards. The Jaguars, 280. The Steelers, 306. Falcons, 249. The last 2 weeks, I can give it to you. He's not played the best, but this past week, that is probably the most complete game I've seen from a Texans quarterback. He's right now, at this point, he reminds me of Deshaun Watson before that ACL tear in his rookie season. We have the Texans, as bad as an organization they are, they know how to draft the QBs. At least their last 2 QBs were borderline MVPs. Matt Schaub, for as bad as Matt Schaub was in his last season, where he won 2 games, was seen as a prominent quarterback when he played under the Texans. The only guy that didn't was Derek Carr, but Derek Carr was in an expansion team. He had no one blocking for him. He wasn't doing anything. He was in a terrible situation. But if it wasn't an expansion team, Derek Carr also becomes at least a serviceable starting quarterback for that time, because now I feel as though quarterbacks need to be like superstars per se, and back then you could have like a serviceable quarterback. Like, I think the last QB that was like a starter, like Kirk Cousins is like a starter, not a superstar, but he's gonna make sure you win games. And Derek Carr could have been that, but terrible situation of starting. Back to CJ Stroud though. There's only a few people like who are playing like him. Look. The only other close one is Lamar. Only Lamar is as close as him, and Lamar is has the option of running. So teams are also prepared for his running. So I don't know. I feel as though, some people say, well, I like to say that the best pick, the best QB in the draft fell right in the Texans' hands. But you never know. Maybe Caleb comes back. He's also not. We're talking about bad situations with Derek Carr. Caleb isn't in the best situation, but I think right now we need to start talking about CJ Stroud not only as a rookie of the year, but as a MVP caliber player if we can win more games. That is true. That is one argument I will stay back. We are 4-4. It isn't terrible. I think we need to make at least a wild card game for him to get an MVP shout, but that's me. All right, and the next story. This one's a bit of a wholesome one, I'm not gonna lie. The NWSL. The NWSL has recently signed a $240 million TV deal with CBS, ESPN, Amazon Prime, and Scripps, which I'm not sure what. I've heard of Scripps, but I thought Scripps was like a political channel. I'm not gonna lie. But with Scripps. So, for those of you who don't know NWSL, we are talking about the National Women's Soccer League. You hear that? National Women's Soccer League. This is an MLS deal. This is a National Women's Soccer League deal. This is a great deal. Not just the deal itself. This is great for the growth of the sport. I love it when the sports grow. I've watched sports since I was a kid. I used to play soccer or football, or I'm Latino, so football. I used to play when I was a kid. I really didn't play at high school. I played football and golf in high school, but growing up, that was like the sport you play. If you're Latino, you play soccer. And when I see the sport of soccer growing, I'm all for it. I watched the World Cup. I watched Spain win the Women's World Cup. Is the soccer the same level? No, we're not going to sit here and talk about that, though. The sport is growing, though, and hopefully we get into a position where we can start talking about the sport and the dramatics of it, because it's not just the game that's played on the field, it's the storylines going into the game. Hopefully we can get into a place where we start getting those storylines, we start getting those dramatics, and we start getting moments that are memorable. Because I'll be honest, I'm not gonna sit here and talk for everyone. Dramatic moments in women's soccer, the last ones were, I remember when Japan won the when Japan won the Women's World Cup, and then the year when the US won it back, and then obviously this year that the US didn't win it. So I feel like the biggest moments are in the world, what am I trying to say, the international soccer, in women's soccer. And I hope that now with a TV deal like this, that's more money for the players, that's more money for the league. The more money the league makes, the more money the league will pay. You know what I mean? So I hope this will make, start making the women's game. It'll bring the best players into the league, and we start getting like a major uptick in the quality. Because right now the talent is spread. That is one thing I have noticed. The talent is spread. There's talent here in the US. I see there's talent in Germany. I see there's talent in the UK, but it's not in one place. Like, if we're being honest, the best football you are watching is probably, the Premier League. The best football you're watching is either the Premier League or the Spanish League. And so it's split, but not as much. And in women's, I feel like it's very split. Like, you have some of the best women's players playing in the UK. Some of them are playing in Germany. Some of them are playing here. So I just feel that with this TV deal, $240 million, cable partners, CBS, ESPN, Amazon Prime, Scripps. Okay. And let's see. Okay, so CBS will air, CBS Sports, let's be specific. CBS Sports will air at least 10 matches per season on CBS and the CBS Sports Network. And they will also stream NWSL matches on Paramount Plus. ESPN will air at least 15, okay, on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. And will also have the rights to produce and air the NWASL playoffs and championship game. Amazon Prime will air a bulk of the matches with 20 per season on Prime Video. And then Scripps Sports, I don't know much about Scripps Sports, I'll be honest. Will air another bulk, will air at least 20 matches per season. Oh, on Ion Television. Okay, I know Ion Television. You want to know why I know Ion Television? Ion Television also airs WNBA content, WNBA games. So I do know Scripps. I'm not gonna lie now. Let's make sure it's yeah. Ion Television, yeah. So that's good. Ion Television is probably on more households than you think, for sure. It's not like a CBS like we or ESPN, but it is in a lot. I carry. I think if you have an antenna, and that's crazy, or what is it called? A converter box. If you have a converter box, you have Ion Television, and I'm pretty sure if you have like basic cable, it should come in like the basic cable channels, because Ion Television really just airs like reruns of stuff. Probably they have like a few original series. I'm not sure. Last time I watched it was like in 2014, because they had like a WWE show on there. It was like a wrestling show on there. So I haven't seen Ion in a minute, but I have seen. Well, actually, I have seen Ion. I saw it a few weeks ago because I watched the WNBA game. It was Lynx against the Sparks, I'm pretty sure. One of those games. But yeah, so that's great news for the sport, and that's great news for the women. 240 million. I don't see the length on here, but 240 million, and hopefully the next one is even more, because right now the most valuable properties are live sports, because they happen every year. You know, live sports don't just get canceled like TV shows do. You know what I mean? So live sports are, a commodity. Okay. Next story. Let me see right here. I have it written down. And it is Max Verstappen has won the 2023 Formula One Championship. This is good. This is we're basically watching history right now. First driver to win, I think 3 or 4 since, no, it has to be 4 because it's his 4th win in a row. So this is first driver to win 4 in a row since Vettel. That's crazy to me. That's absolutely that's crazy. That's crazy. Let's see. I think I'm on races. Let's see, drivers. Yeah, 21. No, so it is 3. Whoops, it is 3. First one to win 3 in a row since Vettel, which is insane. I'm not gonna lie, I knew about F1. I used to play this is funny. I didn't really watch F1, but I used to play the video games of F1 like so much. So I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I'm not sure why. But I used to play the F1 video games. So I was terrible at them. If I play it now, I'm trash. I'm garbage. But oh, I think my landlord is. I hope you guys can't hear that. Anyways, yeah, so he is the first one to win 3 in a row since Sebastian Vettel. And he won 15 races. 15 races, second most in a single season in F1. And then I think it was 22 podiums out of 23 races, which means if you don't know podium, obviously first, second, or third. He's been on the at least first, second, or third in 23 races. If I have the okay, I have this great. Okay, the races right here. He only lost 3 races. He lost Singapore to Carlos Sainz of Ferrari, and then the other 2 he lost to Sergio Perez, which is his teammate. So it's against someone who has his hardware too. So he was out driving Sergio Perez the whole season, minus, the last 2 he let him go, but well, not the last 2, but 2 of the last 4 he let him go. But this lead, let me look at, I wanted to see because this lead is insane. 524. Sergio Perez, his teammate, who runs in the same hardware, like I keep saying, he's in the same type of car. Every I don't know how to explain this the best, but there's teams like Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, things like that, and they'll usually have two cars. So those 2 cars are exactly the same, engineered the exact same way, minus like maybe dimensions for the driver, but everything else is the exact same way. And what's it called, his teammate is still 258 and he's at 524. That difference is insane. Lewis Hamilton 226, and Lewis Hamilton is a legend in F1 as well. But Lewis Hamilton, 226. Fernando Alonso, 198. Lando Norris, 195. They're nowhere near. You know what I mean? They're just nowhere near. It's insane how good this guy is. Like really, it is insane how good this guy is. And now he has the record, and hopefully maybe we get 4. I think 4 would be pretty insane to see. He's dominating. It reminds me of when Lewis Hamilton, or at least I don't watch like that, but when I would hear or read about Lewis Hamilton dominating, because I got like I said, I got into the games, I think, when Sebastian Vettel was that guy, and then he fell off a little. Yeah, he fell off towards the end, but so great for Max Verstappen, and F1 is growing. I don't know if people realize this, but F1 is actually growing. So the more things like legendary things like this happen, the more people are gonna watch. So 'cause I feel like F1 used to only be watched by like older people, and now it's like I watch it, a few of my friends watch it, so it's pretty cool. Next story is a bit of a crazy one and a bit of a sad one. Not sad, but it's just weird how it got to this. But yeah, Luis Diaz, Liverpool. He plays on Liverpool. His father was kidnapped by a Colombian guerrilla. What's it? Let me read this out right, because I wrote it down. A Colombian guerrilla group, and they were called the National Liberation Army, and that's like the Spanish translation to English. I think their acronym is ELN. And yeah, so he was kidnapped on November 9th, 2023, and he was held for 13 days. He was released I read it wrong. He was kidnapped on the 28th of October, and he was released yesterday. Today's the 10th. He was released yesterday. And he was kidnapped in Barrancas, Colombia, which is like, I'm pretty sure in the north part of Colombia. They said they kidnapped him by mistake. I think that's a lie. And then they said afterward that it wasn't by mistake. It was to raise awareness of social issues and economic problems in Colombia. while I do understand that there are social issues and economic problems in Colombia, to kidnap a famous soccer player's father, that just sounded like they were trying to get some ransom in there. But you never know. Um, Let me see. Yeah, so he scored a goal. Luis Diaz scored a goal and wore a shirt. I'm gonna get it on. I don't remember the quote. I think it was something like "Release my dad," like legitimately Luis Diaz, Papa. Yeah, for obviously like that's pretty obvious, but Papa is dad. Okay, yeah, and he had a no. He said "freedom for dad," and for the shirt itself read in Spanish "Libertad para." Oh God, I haven't spoken Spanish in a minute. "Libertad para papa." So no mi papa. I think I'm struggling because there's no like it should say "Libertad para mi papa," but it says "Libertad para papa." Anyways, I'm not gonna be the grammar police on that, but yeah, that's a scary situation. I hope he is actually in good health. I hope nothing happens in the coming days or anything like that. But yeah, that's a scary situation to even find yourself in, let alone your parent to be in. And the reason I'm speaking about this is because it's Luis Diaz plays for Liverpool FC, so he is um obviously a soccer star, but yeah, I can't believe I just can't believe that's a thing. You know what I mean? Like I just can't believe like that happened. That's crazy. But shot like hopefully, everything's well, everything's good, and hopefully he doesn't hopefully the he doesn't have any effects, any trauma or anything like that, cuz that would be terrible. That would be terrible. Um and now my final topic. It was one of my favorite things to talk about throughout these 10 weeks, and that is the college football playoffs and how they're beginning to shape out. I know this is more like an overview than like a single story. Apologies for that. But what's it called? We're just gonna look at the records right quick. I don't think I have a screen share on this. But yeah, there's no way I can do that right now. But I'll just read them out and the records, and then I'll just get like a quick analysis on it and see what I'm looking at right quick. Let's see. Georgia number 1, Michigan number 2. Actually, week 11 released on November 5th. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, Michigan number 1. No, Georgia number 1, 9-0 in the SEC. Their last win against Ole Miss. No, their next game is against Ole Miss. Michigan, Penn State. No, Michigan 9-0, Big Ten. They have Penn State this week. Ohio 9-0 versus Michigan State. Florida 9-0 versus Miami. Washington has Utah. Pac-12, the death of the Pac-12. And I think that's it for the undefeated teams, except, well, we'll talk about those later. But right now, we're in the thick of it, basically. We're in the thick of the season right quick, because every team right now is on a short leash, because teams like Oregon, teams like Texas, they lost already. Teams like Alabama, they lost already. But now we're at a point where obviously some of these are going to get pushed aside. But if you lose one more, that's done for those teams. But the issue is the teams that hadn't lost yet. Because now, for example, you have a Georgia, well, say a Michigan versus Penn State. You have a Michigan versus Penn State game. And then let's say Michigan loses to Penn State. Penn State is not a great team. uh compared to what some of the years, but they're still 8-1. I'm not trying to get down on Penn State, but uh if they lose now, you can make the narrative, well, they didn't win their big games. You know what I mean? And how is that fair? I don't know. That's the college football tree, but my prediction will be Georgia, Michigan, Ohio, and Washington. I think Florida loses one or two. There are 3 games left. I think Florida State, the Noles, not Florida. I think Florida State loses one or two. I truly believe that. I truly believe. Let's see their upcoming schedule. I want to see their schedule. Ooh, it's not showing me their schedule. It's just lots of articles. Sadly, dang. Okay, well, let's see Florida State schedule. No. Oh, there we go. Oh man. So no. Okay, so let me change my. Let me. I predict the Florida loss. I'm not gonna lie. I think State will lose to the Gators. Something about it. Something about it to me. I feel as though State will lose to the Gators. I'm not sure. They're not losing to North Alabama. Okay, that's just not gonna happen. That's it. They could lose. Miami had a good run, but I swear after they lost that first game, the players just never got back to it. Like they were just so they seemed like a wind was pulled out of them, if you get what I mean. Um like they recently lost to NC State. I know they lost the which game? Which other game? They lost to Georgia. Where else did they lose? How are these 6-3? Oh, and to UNC. Yeah. So, but they're still a really good team. They just, like one game they lost by 3. The other game they legitimately they lost to Georgia Tech because coach didn't call for a kneel. NC State they got worked. But realistically, you're talking about 2 games where they kept up with pretty good offenses. I think an upset is in the books. I'm not gonna lie, I think an upset is in the books. And because I don't think they're ranked, because Miami isn't ranked, I just see something is telling me that the Noles will lose to the gate to either Miami or the Gators or both. You never know. Yeah, and I think Washington will I think Michael Penix is playing out of his mind, so I think Washington will take it. Just to go down the list, let's see some good contenders. Utah's pretty good, but they already have 2 losses. Tennessee has 2 losses. Everyone else pretty much has 2 losses. Tulane looks good. They're 8-1. Notre Dame had 2 losses, and then they got a third, and they're done. James Madison is a great story. James Madison is banned from bowl games. And they might go undefeated this season, at least in the regular season. But they last season I think they had a pretty good one too. I think they only lost maybe, I don't know. They had a winning record for sure. And they sit 9-0 right now. 9-0. Obviously they're in the Sun Belt. And, I think their next game is against UConn, and UConn is just a terrible football school. Well, they aren't a football school. They're a basketball school, but they have a terrible football program. So, I can only imagine. That they'll win that game, and we're talking about a 10-0 team. Liberty U also, they're ranked 25th, but they're undefeated again. They don't really play much, and CUSA is probably sadly, the weakest conference. Let's look at CUSA. Liberty, Jacksonville State, New Mexico State, Western Kentucky U, LA Tech, Louisiana Tech, UTEP, Middle Tennessee, Florida International, Sam Houston. Sam Houston just recently went up to the FBS, so they're not that good. Jacksonville State the same, but Jacksonville State is also actually pretty good this season. But like I said, they're not playing great teams. I think that's also why Tulane is getting the short end of the stick, because they have, Tulsa, Florida Atlantic, UTSA. They beat Memphis. I think their biggest game, Ole Miss, they lost by 17. And they won a Cotton Bowl last year. But you know what I mean? And the voters will always, give teams that aren't in either. If you're not in the Big Ten or the SEC or I'm trying to see who else gets a minute. Or I won't say AAC because I don't believe that, but I think if you aren't like Clemson, if you aren't Florida State, yeah, if you aren't Clemson or Florida State, or in the Big Ten or SEC, you do not get the benefit of the doubt. Even the Pac-12 and the Big 12 have not been given the benefit of the doubt. And as much as it pains me to say, I'm pretty sure Texas is going to take the Big 12, which is like the most sad. Actually, a fallout just right quick. Kansas State could have won that at least gone another round of overtime if they just kicked the field goal. But I digress. Let me just weep in my sorrows and everything. But that has been, college. I'm just wanting to get like a little overview on college football playoffs. I don't want to ramble too much. This has been the Let's Do Sports top 5 roundup. This has been a fun little thing. I don't think I'm going to stay with this iteration, but I am intrigued in doing something live or something like that, like a live stream type thing, maybe where I can not show the game, that's like copyright, but like maybe I can watch the game and like commentate over what I'm watching or something like that. I would like to keep doing this just like in a different format, because I don't know how great this format is, at least for me who likes to kind of ramble or something. Maybe I'll do like a longer form one, which still some structure, but like longer form, if you get what I mean. So this has been the Let's Do Sports top 5 roundup. I am JJ Rivera. I hope you have had a great time in these past 10 weeks. My one listener, he knows who he is, and myself, and I think my mom, not my mom, actually, not my mom, my sister. Thank you for watching it and not leaving dislikes or whatever, or giving me like a 0 star. Like I said, I don't really do stuff like this, so I appreciate it, and see you guys when I see you.